Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at how to make a new disco. So I'll play through the track that I've made here and then we'll get straight into it. Okay, so that's a quick playthrough of the track. So when it comes to new disco, what is new disco? So new disco is obviously a take on the classic disco sort of genre. We've just added, making it a bit more modern. Obviously, the production has come on quite a long time, quite far since then. So, just using some modern production techniques on an old genre, really, keeping the same sort of feel. So when you're making new disco, you want a lot of organic elements. So you don't want a lot of synths and stuff in there. You want a lot of like real life instruments, guitars, bass guitars, organs, all sorts of stuff like that. Rather than going for the sort of synthesized sound. So the first thing we've got, which we'll go through here, is we have this sort of Rhodes type organ. Just have a very basic sidechain on there. And it changes into this. One thing I'd say as well, swing. I have some swing on it as well. If you don't know what swing is, I've done a video on swing in the synthwave sessions, I think it is. So you can have a look at that, go back through and have a look at that, and it just explains what swing is. So I've got some swing on there as well. And then after that, we go on to the bass line. And for the bass line, I have used a fingerless bass, which is obviously a very organic sound. And obviously when creating bass lines is a very, very strong part of this sort of funky, sort of disco-y sound. And that's, so when you're thinking of synthwave, you think that obviously the bass line's there to add the low ending, and then it's your riffs and stuff that stand out. Whereas in this, it's the bass line really makes a track. So we've added some accent notes in as well to this as well, just to give it a bit more of a disco feel. And then when it drops down and plays by itself, we've just added this sort of guitar over the top of it. And this is just basically mirroring some of the notes from there. And this is, again, this is just another expand. So then we move on to the guitar. So we've got, these guitars are loops from Vengeance. We've got this one first of all here. What we've got on here is we've got some reverb, some delay, and some EQ cutting the low ends out. Again, because of when you think about disco, obviously, you know, back when disco records were being made, like I said, what they had back then, the gear to what gear we've got now is quite different. So you want to try keep it as organic and as less processing as possible. And then we just added this guitar on top as well. And then we've added, obviously we have what we've got here is we've got obviously we've got its side shit, we've got the we've got the delay turning off, and then we've got the reverb slowly coming up and then ending. Obviously that's sort of a modern technique. So next we'll move on to the drums. So it's just a very basic kick. It's a nice heavy kick. Then the percussion of an open hi-hat. And you can hear there's a shuffle. Even though the notes are just boom, 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 right along, you can hear there's a bit of a shuffle to it, and that is obviously to do with a swing. So we've got a shaker there as well. And obviously a hi-hat, and they're going to number 7. Again, we've got nothing on there. And then we've got a clap with a knife. So we've got a snare and a clap. We're just playing by itself. And then we have an accent clap as well. Just to give it a bit of rhythm into it as well. So let's play this along. And then we have just a very basic perk loop as well in there. Just adding a bit more movement into it. And then we come to the synth parts. Now this is obviously a big thing when it comes to disco. What we've got is we've got a lot of little hits and little tiny riffs, just playing maybe a couple of notes or playing a chord every here and there, and we fill the track with these right throughout. And gives it a lot of variation. So we'll just quickly go through what we've actually got. So we've got this riff first of all, which is again expand. Then we have this sort of synth hit. Then we have this. And then we have this sort of string. So when we add all these together, this is what we're sort of getting. So just nice floaty riff just on the top there, just making everything move along nice. We've also got this sort of plucky riff, dreamy spire riff at the start. And all these are going to channel 11. Again, I've showed you this, a reverb on there, ping pong delay, and obviously a low cut to get rid of all the low end because we don't want that interfering with the bass. We've then got a little fill. Just a little vocal. Now instead of going for it, we've obviously got the trusty reverse crash, which I know everyone absolutely loves. I use it all the time and everyone absolutely loves it in my videos. But instead of going for the standard crash, we've actually gone for an orchestral hit. Sorry. So let's listen to that in the mix. That's just taken from Vengeance there, so nothing special about that there, just taken from Vengeance. So what we've then done, again we'll repeat this quite a lot, and then we drop down into just a bass play by itself. And then the good thing about having all these little hits is we can mess around with them. You can see here that each time there's something different in. We can add them in, we can take them away, and we can build them up. And then when we go to this part, we've got a string fill at riff. So here we've dropped out the sort of lead guitar, and we've added this little string riff in. We've added a doubler to make it sound a bit wider because it's very narrow. And again, we've added some EQ. And then because obviously we've got the string playing, and we've also got this riff as a string, what I've actually done, I've changed the instrument. To a saxophone, because obviously you don't want this string playing and that string playing, they'll just clash. So we've changed the instrument, so when the strings plays, it still plays the same riff, but it plays a saxophone instead of the string. And then we've gone back to the start again, and then we've added everything in together, so we've got everything playing together. And obviously what we've got as well is we've got a manual fade down, so rather than it ending abruptly, we've got it actually just the volume just turning off, turning slowly going down. And I think I've actually just disabled that for the video. Yep, so where is it? So what we've done for that is we've actually just used the compressor with no settings on it. There's no ratio, no threshold, so the compressor's not working, but we're just using the volume part of it. And we're just fading that volume down. So we'll just play that again this time. We've also got a bit of a crackle as well, just at the start and stuff, just to give it that old sort of feel, record feel. So that is it. So when it comes to making sort of new disco, what are the key elements you want to bear in mind? Obviously, you need to, the bass line is the main part of this track. The main part of any sort of new disco track is the bass line. So you rather than like other genres, like for example, like I don't know, trance, it's obviously the main riff, the synths. When you're looking at hip hop, it's the beats, and when you're looking at new disco, it's the bass line. So make sure the bass line is the main part of your riff. Make sure that's sounding really, really nice, and then you can just add other elements in there. Make sure that your drums are nice and up to date, and nice and well processed, and then keep your instruments as organic as possible. So real instruments, we're talking guitars, pianos, organs, all sorts of stuff like that. Rather than going for synths. I know I've got a couple of synths parts in here, but that's just there to add the sort of modern feel. So bringing it from disco to new disco. Yes, that's about it, guys, on this video. If there's anything else you'd like me to go over or discuss with you, or any other sorts of genres you want me to take a look at, certainly drop the comments below. I'm going to be doing a lot more different genres as well, so I'm going to be outside of this. This is still sort of 80s sort of realm, sort of new disco and synthwave and darkwave and all that. I'm going to be branching out a little bit more. I'm going to be doing trance and even modern genres likes of Melbourne bounce and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm going to be running through how to make that sort of stuff as well. So if there's any particular genres you want me to look at, leave it in the comments below and I'll certainly take a look for you. But for now, guys, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching.